Mo. I didn't mean to offend you, ma'am. I don't know what else to say. You have a very lovely daughter. I'd like to officially ask your permission to hang out with her.
You serious?
Hello, friends! Trace amounts of science. We're back into Married Mary today. I couldn't wait for a full week. This story, I just know it's gonna get super juicy and good. And if you missed the previous part, the playlist is in the description. But let's not waste any time. We'll jump into this thing and see how it goes. Hungry Legbeard ate my tendies. Married Mary, part number 2. That is one of the most egregious things. In the neckbeard or legbeard world, this means war. Well, my friends, if you made it through the relatively tame introduction to this legbeard cringe, you're amazing. Yeah, no, pretty good sometimes maybe. I always appreciate it when people take the time to read my weird writing. You write really good, I gotta tell you that much. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. Please keep writing, I'll keep going. But I must warn you that henceforth, things are going to get gross. Probably not as gross as the Shadowrun saga. I mean, that would be an experience. Just a modern art show where everybody poops all over themselves or rolls around in it. It's just around the corner. But since I've apparently experienced more repugnant happenings in my life than the average person, my grossometer probably needs some recalibration. So take my claims that this story is tamer with a grain of salt. I mean, everybody have different type of yuck, you know? Sometimes they get the teeth yuck, and that really gets me deep down, where some people don't really mind it that much. Butt worms, I mean, I'm pretty sure that hits everyone. That's why I gave such a resounding response. Go check out the Funky Pea saga if you haven't already. What are you doing? But yeah, much like you, OP, my gross meter's a little off calibration too. I don't know what's socially acceptable anymore. Anyway, it so happens that most of the beards that I've encountered over the years weren't unhygienic or unattractive, but they were gross in other ways. Yeah, that stereotypical beard stuff. Like the unhygienic, unattractive beards, everybody points them out. They're like, that is definitely a weird dude. But these are weird people that have learned to keep up their social veneer in some form or fashion, and yeah, I do want to take a little look behind the mask. I know I'm going to be disgusted, disappointed, but I can't help myself, I gotta look.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT!
Even the non-beards in this story are gross, in a sense, but they mostly adhere to the social contract and generally avoid making obnoxious scenes. Having said that, discussions of disgusting carnal mishaps will appear in this chapter, so proceed with caution. Well, my mind is swirling with all sorts of possibilities. None of them that I dare to speak aloud in a YouTube video, but let's see. Just in case you're new here, let me give you some quick introduction to the people that you'll meet. We got Val, the OP, a nerdy theater/grad student. There's Lucy, George Gay, George Strait. They're all professional comics from a local improv troupe. Mary, our legbeard, is also a member of said improv troupe, although she doesn't take it very seriously. Mary is currently obsessed with Whiskers, a tall, eccentric guy who was an audience member at a recent improv show. Oh, come on, she could be a professional comic. It should be the next Amy Schumer. Is it still fun to bash Amy Schumer? Yeah, it is. I'll tell you, yeah, it's right off the bat. It is. Vanishing Tendies, Wednesday night, mid-October. It was the middle of the semester, and I'd been up since 6 a.m. I'd taken 2 midterms and had met with a study group for several hours that evening to prepare for my next exam. I hadn't eaten all day. I was drained, despite being obviously caffeinated. But the next midterm wasn't until Friday, and I felt well prepared for it, so I was keen to meet up with Lucy and the Georges to have some drinks and blow off some steam. Make sure that whatever drink you pick, also, Irish coffee or something, you need the caffeine to keep flowing or you're gonna crash. As soon as we exchanged greetings, I dashed to the bar and ordered some grilled chicken tenders and a mojito, went to the patio to sit down with Lucy and the Georges, and collapsed dramatically into the chair, looking forward to having a stress-free night. It's a bit of foreshadowing there, isn't it? Mojito, by the way, great pick. Last time me and my wife went clubbing, I had like 4 mojitos. They're so delicious. So while the comics all debated the degree to which their material could border on offensive without actually being offensive, I kept checking the doorway for signs of my food. I mean, the secret is you gotta make other people think the bad thing. You just allude to it, you know? Technically, I think it's still working, Blue. Like, they're not gonna bring you onto the Tonight Show if that's all your entire set consists of, you know? Although this is a different age than when I was doing stand-up comedy. Like, people are making their own specials and actually gaining some ground, you know? Make a little viral Twitter thread about you bashing some heckler. It's the wrong way to think if you're waiting around for other people to discover your talent. I made that mistake. Don't be like me. You can succeed where I failed. Anyway, I kept checking the doorway for signs of my food, and that's when Whiskers ducked through the doorway, with Mary's arms wrapped around his waist. God damn, it's like a big fat boa constrictor wrapping itself around a gum-gum tree. I don't even know what a gum-gum tree is. He locked eyes with me and gave me a little nod. I think he was smiling because his eyes crinkled and his face got cheekier, but his behemoth of a beard made it really impossible to get an accurate read on his facial expression. I managed a weary smile and a wave, which Whiskers took as an invitation to sit at the table with us. Oh no, it wasn't that. I mean, maybe it was. But are you really willing to step between Mary and her man? Did you see what she did to that guy last week over the ham sandwich? Mary says, "You have to sit with me. I need some whiskey Whiskers time." Whiskers, "Let's sit with your silly friends. We don't need a private table." Yeah, he's trying to make his moves right out in the open. It's bold. Obviously, it paid off for him in some type of way. It was also the worst mistake OP ever made, maybe, that I've heard about, at least. Mary says, "Just don't sit next to that purple pixie whiskey. I'll sit with my boy Georgie." Lucy whispering, "Oh my god, you're the purple pixie. That sounds like a supervillain." I laughed and muttered, "Yeah, I'm gonna get it printed on a t-shirt." I mean, it ended up as your username, so I'm glad it stuck, honestly. Sorta catchy. Mary sauntered over, hugged George Gay, greeted the rest of us politely and in a completely normal voice, and then turned to Whiskers to whine, "Whiskey, I'm starving. Will you go order me some corny dogs and a soft pretzel with honey mussy and a personal pepperoni pizza and a chocolate martini?" Hold on, you said corny dogs? Like plural, hot dog. How many hot dogs would you say you eat in a day, Mayor? Huh? Also, the disparagement of honey mussy, I just cannot abide. Do you realize how many calories you're putting into your body? How many grams of saturated fat? She doesn't care. Where is Mary now? Dead. Buried in a piano box. They couldn't find a coffin big enough. It's like the mom from Gilbert Grape.
Mama! Mama! Wake up!
So Whiskers smushed his beard against her hand and said, "Of course, I'll be right back." Then he turned to the rest of us. "Any of you guys need anything?" Dude, you should place like in equally huge order. That would be hilarious. We all indicated that we were fine, though, and as Whiskers exited the patio, Mary excitedly turned to George Gay and loudly declared, "You won't believe the boom I've been having." George Gay, "Oh, so you've been pounding whiskey?" Mary to the entire table, "He has magic fingers." Dude, please, I don't want to be here for this.
Finger blasting is the best.
"He bangs booba like a stallion. He could go all night." Please make it stop. Please make it stop. "He eats my box like his mommy made it." Ugh. Oh, that's the most horrible thing you've said. What?
Hey, look! Silence! I can't take this shit no more.
I'm such a smitten little kitten. Oh. She slid her hands down her body, gasped like an adult film star, and threw her head back in unbridled ecstasy at the very thought of banging the bearded one. How you feeling at this point, OP? Is that the point where you're like, well, I want to try that out? I wouldn't be inclined to believe Mary about anything, but I don't know. If you're already into the bearded guy, I guess go take a ride, you know? I had been trying to stifle my laughter while Mary was dramatically singing the praises of Whiskers' bedroom prowess, and I squirted a bit of mojito out of my nose and choked on the rest of the sip. Tears welled up in my eyes, and I covered my mouth with both hands while I tried to catch my breath. Mary, are you okay, Valley? I cleared my throat. Wrong pipe. I'm okay. Mary, whiskey sometimes goes up the wrong pipe, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's one of the possibilities that was swirling around my head earlier in this episode. George Gay, oh honey, the wrong pipe is the fun pipe. Get it? I'm gonna get up and excuse myself outside for a cigarette and a syringe full of heroin so I don't have to think about this anymore. It's the poo-poo pipe, George. Lucy pretended to vom. I started choke laughing again, and George straight rested his face in his palm. Mary, so Valley, are you single? Do you have some girl talk to share? Why was she suddenly being friendly towards me? I was so confused, and I wasn't exactly a fan of being called Valley. Yeah, she could be the mountains, you could be the valley. But the obvious answer is because Whiskers mentioned something about you that he found you intriguing, and now she's trying to pull you close so you don't end up stealing her man, right? I'm telling you, I've been doing this too long. OP does divulge and says, I'm kinda seeing a guy from school, I guess, but I don't have any stories that can compare to yours. George Gay, you're still seeing that ratchet flake you were banging when you were doing Cats this summer? OP, yep, I was banging the flake and you were getting the corn. Gross. George and I launched into a brief parody of our duet from the universally reviled musical, high-fived each other, and laughed a little too hard at a joke that was probably only funny to us. I mean, I put my own meaning on it. That's why I said gross. But aren't inside jokes a most satisfying brand of humor? Well, they are to me. Yeah, here's the thing about that. It really only works for people that are clued into it. Has-Been Beard did it a whole bunch, and it made me foam at the fucking mouth. I'm gonna let this one slide because I had my own punchline, but I just hope you're trying to make a point. I hope this is all tongue-in-cheek. That's what I'll say. Like, if I get behind the microphone and say, oh, dude, you look like the Devlar, like, that doesn't mean anything to you. But my buddy Scott and I will crack up because it's an inside joke. Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't work for anything else. Even if I explained the story, you'd think it was stupid. Okay. Anyway, George straight says, oh, now you guys have to explain that. And George Gay said, so I was Mungo Jerry. Yes, that is pronounced Mungo Jerry. I'm on brand. Isn't there also a song by Mungo Jerry? Can we cut that in, Elijah?
In the summertime, when the weather is high, you can stretch right up and touch the sky.
OP was Rumple Teaser, and she was dating a guy who was constantly flaking on her. I went home with a guy who gave me the corn. And the joke was that Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser were prowling around stealing cornflakes. I guess you kind of had to be there. I mean, was he giving you corn on the cob, or was it just niblets? You know what? Don't tell me. It's fine. I don't actually want to know. George Strait, you were dating a farmer? Everyone else started laughing hysterically. Those of us who were at least somewhat socially adept didn't have the heart to explain the concept of giving someone corn to George Strait, but Mary had no problem with it. Please, I don't want to hear about Mary's niblets. Don't do it. Mary says, "It means he had corn on his cob when he pulled it out of his boyfriend's." Oh no, it's worse than I imagined. George Gay. Hey, it was not my boyfriend. It was some rando I met at a bar. Does that make it better for you somehow? Then Lucy asks, "Didn't you guys have a threesome with Rum Tum?" George Gay and I both shushed her. That was nothing more than a nasty rumor. But Mary lit up. "Ooh, fascinating." George Gay flipped his hand at her. "Fictional." George Strait apparently hadn't stretched his cringe muscles that evening, and he sat there in stunned silence, having obviously sprained his brain. See? That's why you gotta listen to some ReddX. It's good for you. As long as you're above the age of majority. Any younger, I can't sign off on that. You're not supposed to be exposed to all this yet. Anyway, Whiskers soon returned to the table, carrying a chocolate martini, thankfully distracting Mary from asking questions about the aforementioned nasty rumor. "Here you go, m'lady. They'll bring your food out in a bit." Yeah, they're gonna have to cart it in. Not on like a room service cart either, just a hand truck. "Here's your stack of corn dogs, you monster." Whiskey sat the drink down in front of Mary. Now, this might seem, to a seasoned observer of neckbeard behavior, to be an early warning sign of beardery. Just the maladying? Yeah, I guess. If you've suffered through the Shadowrun story, you know what Whiskers eventually turns into, but I actually do not believe that this isolated malady was indicative of beardery. I don't know, whatever you gotta tell yourself, OP, is fine. The more you get to know Mary, the more this malady amnesty will make sense. Lucy says, "You're such a gentleman, Whiskers. Respect." Whiskers, "I work in hospitality, so it's second nature." George Strait, "Where do you work?" Whiskers, "I'm the maitre d' at Vert. It's a vegan gastropub in Midtown." Yeah, and after you eat at a vegan gastropub, that's what your butt's gonna sound like all night. Vert, 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 Vert. I don't know if that joke's stupid or ingenious. Mary cooed, "I'm gonna come visit you at work this week, and then I can come at your place after you, get off." She took several gulps of her martini, and then snuggled up to Whiskers. Yeah, look at this, she's not even drunk yet. Just out here showing your whole ass. Or probably not the ass, the top part, that's what she's most proud of. The butt is surely a deep source of shame, since it's all flat, she never works it out at all. I mean, it's probably big on the XY axis, but it doesn't exist in the Z axis, if you know what I'm saying. Whisker says, "It's really not worth it. The food's pretentious." Yes, just like the maitre d'. But we don't know that yet. My phone buzz chirped, and I felt my heart skip a beat when I saw that it was Dennis, the guy that I had low-key dated. Was still low-key dating? I was unclear on that, but I took the call and scurried to the side of the patio so that I could hear more clearly. My faint hopes of romance were dashed, however. Dennis was just calling to ask me about Friday's midterm, but that was okay. It was good to talk to him, and he was asking about biological psychology, which was my favorite class. "Yeah, it's all business for you. Tell me about how you want to tear my clothes off in a public place." I made my way to the parking lot so I could grab the textbook from my car and talk psych for a few minutes. Dennis ended the conversation by saying, "Thanks, babe. See you Friday. Maybe we could get coffee after the exam." OP, sure, sounds good. I'll see you Friday. I was kind of glad that Dennis had called, but I was also getting fed up with this hot and cold crap. More than anything, in the moment, I was hungry, and I was pretty sure that the food hadn't made it to the table while I was on the phone, so I hurried back to the patio. Oh, that's right, there's still some chicken tenders on order. I was thinking Mary was just gonna scarf all her food and be a greedy pig, but you have food of your own, don't you? Good for you, that's forethought. Alas, when I arrived, Mary was housing the last of her pizza, and appeared to be on her second chocolate martini. Where the hell was my food? Dude, she ate it for sure. What a monster. OP says, hey, where are my grilled tenders? Mary, oh, we ate them. She irritated and giggled. Whiskers, wait, you ordered the grilled tenders? OP, yes, and I haven't eaten all day and I'm fucking starved. Lucy, I told you they were probably hers. Mary, well, she abandoned us. OP, what the hell? I had to take a call about an exam on Friday and I wasn't even gone that long. Mary, well, the way I see it, you owe me. OP, for what? Mary, you interrupted my date last week. Honestly, I don't give a fuck what I did. I'm gonna punch you out right now and run your pockets and buy myself some more chicken tenders. That's the only solution I see here. Whiskers, placing a hand on Mary's shoulder, presumably in an attempt to calm her, said, I'm sorry. I had some too. I'll be happy to buy you another basket. Grilled chicken tenders, right? I stood up, too annoyed with Mary to reply to Whiskers' kind offer. I'm not sure why I owe you food, because I had a 2-minute conversation with your date. And then I remembered my manners. That's really sweet of you to offer, though, Whiskers. I headed back inside to order some more food for myself, and Whiskers rose to follow me, presumably to pay for his date's bad manners, but Mary grabbed him by the jacket and screeched, No! You know how bad my anxiety's been, Whiskers. You can't leave me all alone. I can. I do. I didn't actually expect Mary to ever repay me, but I was too hungry to care. I leaned over the bar and asked for another order of grilled chicken tenders. The bartender said, Sorry, miss, the kitchen's closed for the night. I slumped against the bar. Yeah, fucking heartbreak right now. We gotta drive to McDonald's. This is a nugget emergency. But don't settle for the nuggets, okay? You gotta get the chicken selects from McDonald's. Oh, lots of honey musty. Oh, I'm hungry right now. OP says, since I had sucked down a mojito on an empty stomach, I was a little too tipsy to drive. Otherwise, I would have left immediately and gone home to raid my own fridge. But damn, that pub had really good chicken tenders. Basically just sugar glazed chicken, and I'd been craving them all day. I ordered a glass of water and a cup of coffee, trudged back to the table, and lit a cigarette. Yeah, that'll hold you over for a second, I guess. Can you take an Uber through a McDonald's drive-thru? Probably you can. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. You guys sit here and watch me eat this double quarter pounder, fatty. OP says, kitchen's closed. Whatever. Caffeine and nicotine got me through the day so far, but I am leaving the forge for food as soon as I sober up a bit. Lucy, Mary, that was rude. Val probably feels like she doesn't know you well enough to read you the riot act, but I do know you, and that was some inconsiderate bullshit. You owe her an apology at the very least. Once again, Lucy read my mind, and that was when Mary burst into tears and blubbered miserably into Whiskers' chest. I was so hungry. It's just Moby Vic. If she never went to prison, right? Valley and I are friends now. She would have shared with me. Don't yell at me, Lucy Goose. Lucy, it's Lucy. How hard is that? Lou-C. I'm not a fowl, although I can make a fowl soup. Some people call it a snail trail. Mary, I was trying to be sweet. Is anybody buying this shit? Any of us at all? I hate it. Every part of it, I hate it. All this time, Whiskers looked incredibly uncomfortable. George Gay, usually the troop's merry apologist, looked almost as uncomfortable as Whiskers, and George Strait was shooting Whiskers some sympathetic looks. I would later find out that George Strait had been on the receiving end of Mary's obsession at one point. Mary continued to whimper and whinge until she eventually composed herself enough to whisper to Whiskers, who raised an eyebrow, and only briefly hesitated to trail in the wake of her histrionic exit. Why would you play this game at all? Fuck all that. Come back after you've calmed down and you're ready to apologize like a regular human being. But with this odd new couple out of the picture, I almost enjoyed some theater nerd chat with Lucy and the Georges. Had I been fed and rested, I would have thoroughly enjoyed the nerdy banter. At any rate, I got my sea legs back over the course of the conversation, and I was rising to leave just as Mary and Whiskers staggered back to the patio. Mary's hair was messed up, and her skimpy dress was halfway tucked into her butt floss, gratuitously exposing one bootylicious bum cheek. Mary ran over and hugged me far too tightly. Nah, get the fuck off me. I'm leaving. You ate all my stuff. I'm going now. Mary, I'm sorry, Valley Boo. I was just so hungry. I don't get enough food at home, so I have to eat what I can when I'm out. From the size of you, you get more than enough food. Get off me. But OP says, okay, and pats her on the shoulder. Honestly, I'm too exhausted to be mad at you, Mary, and feel free to call me Val. Seriously, why the fuck was she calling me a name that made me sound like some spooky airhead from West Covina? I hated it. Like, whatever, it's not even that bad, OP. Like, you just don't even know, okay? Mary hugging me even more tightly, nearly choking me with heavy, overly floral perfume, says, "You're my Valley Boo. I can tell you have the same darkness in you that I have. I think we could be like sisters." That's not darkness inside of you. It's hardening arteries and a glob of fat stuck in your left ventricle. We're not built the same, okay? OP just questions, what? And then says, I think you might be confusing exhaustion with darkness, but yeah, it's fine. I'll see you at the next show and I'll be in better form. I pulled away from her, said goodnight to Whiskers, Lucy, and the Georges, and went home to make myself dinner at long last. Dennis flaked on coffee, but hey, I got an A on the exam. Well, see, Dennis is just executing the Dennis system where he denies you emotionally. But that's just a theory. Married Mary just being like, the biggest ham planet out here. Anything that arrives to the table gets sucked into her gravitational pull. I mean, the chicken tenders would have been cold by the time OP got back, but that's a hell of a lot better than nothing at all, isn't it? You know it's not your food, don't fucking touch it. And it's a failure on absolutely everybody else's part at that table too. We heard her say the order out loud, that is not yours. Don't fucking touch it, you pig. Maybe that's a little too harsh. Maybe it's just enough to drive the point home. I don't really know. What I do know is the episode's still a little bit short, so we get to get into part number 3 today. Oh, what a treat. So join me over there. Boomer-Incel botches a blind date. Married Mary, part number 3. I like how we get all these side characters, so I never ever have to put Mary on the thumbnail. Welcome back to the seedy underground of the Wellsprings Theater community. If you're new here, or if you need a refresher on the cast, I am happy to introduce you to Lucy and the Georges, professional improvers who perform at a small theater called The Imp. I'm slightly less happy to introduce you to the legbeard Mary, who is also a member of the improv troupe, but she doesn't take it too serious. All she cares about at this time is her steamy affair with a tall, eccentric audience member known only as Whiskers. Mo is a creepy guy who skulks around the theater hitting on young ladies. I am not in this part of the story very much and have recreated the dialogue and events based on what my friends told me. Yeah, we take secondhand accounts, that's fine. I almost forgot about Mo. Mo is super easy to hate. Maybe a little bit too easy to hate. Should I bash Mary a little bit more? I literally called her a pig 10 seconds ago, but we could do more. Anyway, this is chapter 3, Mateless Mo and the Ill-Fated Date. George Gay had a wonderful family. His mother, stepfather, aunt, and cousin all came to the imp on a fairly regular basis. And they had all come to see cats more than once, so I'm sure many of you would agree that they are saints. Yeah, I had my ride or dies that would show up to my comedy shows. Be like, yeah, listen to the same set 10 times in a row, and they're still the ones that are laughing the loudest. It does the heart good. They weren't even my parents, just friends. I miss them. I will reach out to them tonight. Anyway, on the night of this chapter, his mother and stepfather had a previous engagement, but his aunt and cousin were planning to see the improv show. George's aunt was a strikingly gorgeous woman. She was fun-loving, free-spirited, and nurturing. At the same time, she was recently divorced and had told George that she was ready to dip her toe back into the dating pool. Nothing serious, just some light-hearted fun, and George had a truly terrible idea that, in his defense, did make some degree of sense in the mind of a guy who always tried to see the best in everyone. I was a kindred spirit with George in that regard, which is probably why both of us wound up babysitting maniacs on a regular basis. I mean, couldn't be me, but I'm glad that you do it and report back, you know? That's what it takes to be a field agent here at ReddX Industries. So George decided to set Mo up with his aunt, Tia G. Why? Why, Georgie? Why would you subject a family member to this creepazoid? That's what you're all thinking, right? Am I right? Well, that's exactly what Lucy thought when George had shared his plan with the troupe after rehearsal earlier in the week. Lucy says, "Holy shit, George. Are you smoking crack? Do you want your aunt to get roofied?" George Gay. "No, girl, he's my master plan. Introduce Mo to a smoking hot woman closer to his age, and maybe he'll realize he doesn't have to run around in a millennial costume hitting on girls half his age. My aunt wants a date. Mo wants a date. It probably won't go anywhere, but it might open his mind, and I'll be on standby in case she needs rescuing. No, when she needs rescuing, George." It's an inevitability at this point. Lucy says, "What if it does go somewhere? Do you really want Uncle Mo around at family functions?" George smirked. "No way that's gonna happen, sweetheart. Tia G is fathoms out of Mo's league. Embrace the plan. It really could save everyone. My aunt gets back out there. Mo gets to feel like a stud for one night. He realizes that mature women are worth dating. He stops creeping on girls at the imp. Win, 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 win." Out of curiosity, how do you, dear reader, think this is going to turn out? Comment down below. Vote in the poll that I probably did in the live chat. Do it now, before I spoil it all. Uncle Mo. It's going Uncle Mo. It's an inevitability. Sometimes I do feel like being wrong. So we'll flash forward to the night of the show. Call time was 7 p.m. and the show started at 8 p.m. Mo had a habit of rocking up long before the show began. Sometimes he even got to the theater before the improvers did. So George accurately predicted that Mo would be beer bellying up to the bar when he set out to pitch him the master plan. You know, George, it's really great of you to put your aunt in the line of fire like that to save your social circle. Maybe it will work out, but yeah, it doesn't seem like something I'd do. Sacrifice family for friends? Nah, not me. But George Gay says, "Mo, are you still single by any chance?" And Mo says, "Yeah, but I like girls, George." George says, "Honey, you're not my type. No offense, but I do know someone who's looking for a date, and I thought of you. Don't worry, she's a woman." Mo perked up. "I'm listening." George Gay, "She's a relative of mine. Is that weird?" Mo perked up even more. "Nah, bro, not at all. Wait, did she ask you to set her up with me?" George says, "Not exactly, but she did ask me to set her up with someone who likes to laugh and have a good time. She'll be at the show tonight." Mo ran his fingers through his thinning hair. "Dude, I gotta go freshen up. I gotta find some paper and make her some origami hearts. This is gonna be amazeballs." What the fuck? Yeah, dude, sure, go ahead, go off, you know? Have the time of your life. Mo always shoehorned words like dude and bro into his conversations, even though they sounded absurd coming out of his boomer mouth. Yeah, it's like when I say stick your get out for the Ohio Rizzler. People are like, what the fuck? The kids know, it's fine, the kids know. Mo could have been really funny in a sketch if he ever found some self-awareness and spun it into comedy gold. Come to think of it, the director of the improv troupe had asked Mo to participate in a scripted sketch once, but the director wanted Mo to play the geezer role, and Mo, of course, saw himself as the romantic leading man. Needless to say, Mo took extreme umbrage at the very idea of being cast as the old guy, and refused to so much as speak to the director following this exchange. I mean, how about you just take a good look at reality, you know? The only person he's fooling is himself, and he's not even doing that well. George Gay sauntered smugly into the dressing room. "Date's on," he announced. George Strait, "You do realize that this could go horribly, horribly wrong, don't you?" George Gay, "Like I said, I'll be on roofie patrol." George Strait, "Your aunt's a cool chick. I don't know why you're subjecting her to Beetlejuice." Yeah, George Strait and I vibe, dude, for real. George Gay, "Well, maybe she'll give him some makeup tips, as in, like, stop wearing makeup." Everyone in the dressing room laughed. And the statement was made even more amusing by the fact that George Gay was sitting in front of the mirror, expertly applying guy liner as he made this quip. Too savage, so catty, I love it. Mary, "I think it's gallant of you, boy Georgie. I, for one, would be so relieved if I didn't have to put up with this groping at every single show. I'm practically taken now, after all." Lucy, "Aren't you married?" Mary, "Oh, we're separated, you know that. Whiskers is the only man I want now. His majestic member is the most..." Lucy covers her ear. "La, la, la, la. I do not want to hear it." Nobody does. Mary, "Loosen up, Lucy. It's healthy to talk about sex." Not according to YouTube's community guidelines. Lucy says, "I agree. But even drinking water can poison you if you chug too much." Mary, "I love chugging whiskey's pearly." Lucy, "God, what did I just say?" Somebody needs to take her out back and put her down. There's no fixing this, okay? George Gay then stepped in and said, "Take it easy, Mare. I love chugging the pearly elixir just as much as you do." Again, gross. But let's give Lucy's ears a break for a little bit. We can go to Filthy's and grab some BJ shots after the show. Then you can crack as many crass jokes as your McNasty heart desires. Mary sighed wistfully and took out her phone. "Oh, fine. I'll just sex my whiskey whiskers until the show starts." George Strait, "Are we not gonna run lines for the scripted sketch?" Lucy, "Yeah, I'd like to run lines." Mary waved a dismissive hand as she stared intently at her phone screen waiting for Whiskey to reply. George Gay offered to do Mary's part, and the professional comics circled up to run their lines. No, twist her arm, make her do it. She's gonna fuck the whole thing up if you don't make her do it. She probably will anyways. I arrived at the Imp after a day of unnecessarily long lab meetings, so I headed straight to the bar to grab a plastic cup of cheap rosé. Mo was already there, and he looked even more Beetlejuice than he had at the previous show. His guy liner was heavier than usual, and he was wearing a black and white tie-dyed blazer over some sort of graphic t-shirt, pinstriped skinny jeans, and the usual fingerless gloves. He had forgone the head accessory, and his thinning salt and pepper hair was slicked back. Why do you make these choices?
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Mo wasn't alone, however. I saw him talking to an alarmingly young girl. The Imp was 21 plus, and there was no way this girl was of legal drinking age. Mo had his tarot cards spread out on the bar, and he kept unnecessarily touching this young lady's hand. I suppose he wasn't technically crossing a line, but it was still nonetheless quite disconcerting. He is crossing. You don't know that fucking kid. I'd like to go over there and say something, but by the time I get over there, I'm probably gonna be too mad. I'll just jam a cocktail fork through his hand. Then again, probably that'll fix it too. It was then that I recognized the girl. It was George Gay's cousin, Georgina. I'd met her a few times when Georgie and I were in Cats, so I decided to find a way to see if she needed rescuing from Mo, without sending Mo into a fit of man-baby rage. Yeah, this would be a true test of diplomacy. OP, Georgina? Hey girl. Mo shot me a menacing look. Mo, do you mind? I'm channeling the spirits right now. I need the full powers of focused cosmic synergy. Georgina, with no regards for the spirits. OMG Rumpelteaser. Wait, what's your real name? OP, it's Val, but I still answer to Rumpelteaser. That show will haunt me forever. Georgina laughed and then enthused. It's so much fun here. I just got my license and my mom let me drive here by myself. She took a few sips of her Shirley Temple. Mo, so, you want to take me for a spin when I finish your reading? Georgina, I don't think so, Mr. Lester. I had enough trouble parking the first time and I don't want to miss the show. Mo, grabbing Georgina's hand and leaning in way too close to the poor girl's face. The spirits agree. They want me to get back to the essential matter of your sparkling fortune, and please, call me Mo. Mo de Bro. No, you are Mo de Lester. You will always be. It's too late to change your stripes now. Georgina giggles and says, okay, hey, ask the spirits if I'm gonna pass Trig. Shit. I had to get George Gay immediately. I snatched my plastic cup of slightly sour swill and made a dash for the dressing room. George! I shouted as I burst through the door. Which one? OP. Gay! Mo's at the bar reading your little cousin's tarot cards. Both Georges leapt up from the line-running circle and headed straight for the bar. Lucy and I followed them. Mary, for some reason, was sobbing in the corner. Oh, you hate to see a fat girl cry, but I ain't got time for that right now. George Gay's typically flawless swish had been replaced by a puffed-up chest and deliberate stomps as he approached the bar. Wow, he went from bottom to top real fast. Mo was clasping Georgina's hands and was intently stating the infamous conclusion of all his tarot readings. Right in front of you, George Gay says. Georgina, where's Tia G? Georgina pulls her hands away from Mo and turns to her cousin. Oh, hey, George, Mom's on her way. She let me drive myself. She said she might have a date tonight. Gross, George Gay. Mo, I hope you're being polite to my cousin. Mo, oh yeah, dude, totes, she's awesome. And the cards just told us that she's gonna have a wicked cool night. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be really fucking wicked cool. Please remove your hands from the underage child. Georgina, and I'm gonna pass Trig. Mo gave her a fingerless gloved high five. Come on, Georgie, you can't be this dumb. Maybe she's a little sheltered. Her childlike curiosity and wonderment about the world's not been crushed by adulthood quite yet. I guess that's not really dumb. Slightly naive. But yeah, trust me when I say Mo is fucking bad news. Even for the aunt. Anyway, Georgina pulled a few janky origami hearts out of her purse and said, Mr. Lester even gave me some good luck charms, and he infused them with cosmic mathematical energy from the cards. George Gay said, Mo? Sidebar. Mo reluctantly rose from his bar stool. Lucy took his place and struck up a conversation with Georgina about driver's ed. George Strait stood by, seemingly ready to throw a punch at any moment. I slid into a seat near the back so I could eavesdrop on George Gay's conversation with Mo. Mo, bro, she's amazing. I can't thank you enough for setting this up, dude. What the fuck?
What? No, dude!
George says, I didn't. I was planning to set you up on a date with my aunt. I had no idea that my 16-year-old cousin would show up by herself. Mo, what the actual fuck, George? Just because I'm a little bit older than you guys, you think I should be going to the nursing home to find dates? George, the nursing home? My ass. Have you seen Tia G? She's still a younger woman, at least to you. Mo, I have a youthful spirit, George. I can't be bothered with old bats who sit around knitting in their granny panties and going to bed at 9 p.m. Who told you? What kind of media have you been watching? Go watch Sex and the City. Mo would love it. He'd show up and be like, George Gay, I'm ready for you now. What a twist! George says, my aunt is a Pilates instructor, and she's just now getting over her divorce, so she told me she wanted to go out and tear it up. Drinking, salsa dancing, watching raunchy comedy shows. I honestly thought you'd have fun hanging out with her. Mo, I thought we were friends, bro, but you're just a sassy, disrespectful little Mo's disgusting slur was thankfully truncated when Tia G arrived, looking smoking hot in a fitted pencil dress and glamorous oversized earrings. Tia G says, Georgie, did Georgina make it in one piece? George said, yeah, she's having a Shirley Temple at the bar with my friend Lucy. Tia G then says to Mo, and who do we have here? Are you in the show tonight? Mo, no. Tia G, then what's with the costume? Georgie, were we supposed to dress up tonight? Is this some sort of theme show? Dunking on the blind date immediately, and I love to see it. George says, no, Mo just has a unique sense of style. Tia G, well, in that case, you look dashing. Mo, thanks. Tia G, so where is this mystery man you told me about? George, my mistake, Tia G. I had a talk with him and decided that he's an asshole. You're still gonna stick around for the show, right? Tia G, of course, mijo. But let me go check on my little hellion of a daughter first. Oh, and thank you for sparing me from that pendejo. George, sure thing, Tia G. Damn, fumbled the ball. I wonder if Mo even feels bad about it, or he's like, nah, she's over 30, that's gross. It's like, dude, you're over 50, fucking pull it together. George glared at Mo, pivoted and swished back to the dressing room. And it appears that my morbid curiosity about George's exchange with Mo was about to bite me in the ass. Mo's man-baby rage was ramping up, and I was the closest human around, so Mo plopped down next to me. Mo, so I guess you heard all the hullabaloo? See, hullabaloo, that's an old person word right there. And OP says, huh? I've been on my phone this whole time. What happened? Mo, well, you saw me talking to that gorgeous girl at the bar, right? OP, you mean George Gay's teenage cousin? Mo, are you gonna judge me too? Why can't you girls understand that love knows no age? OP, I think the law might disagree with you there. Mo, I wasn't trying to bang her. I was just planting the seeds of attraction so that it would be an easy transition from friends to lovers once she's ripe. Oh, dude, my skin crawling. I fucking hate that. Ugh. Yeah, OP says, well, now that is what we call grooming, and tragically it does remain difficult to prosecute, as we're finding out with the SCP deep dives that we're doing. But that won't stop me from trying to skewer their ass to the wall. My skin nevertheless indeed crawled off my body and slithered out of the theater at Mo's lecherous utterance of the word ripe. I had no desire to continue this conversation, and there was no way in hell I was going to endorse the idea of a beer-bellied boomer trying to hit on a high school girl, not even in an effort to placate Mo. And I also wanted to kick him in the cashews for his truncated slur, but I didn't want to make an ugly, accusatory scene during which Georgina might end up overhearing something. Fortunately, though, Tia G had no problem making a scene. Tia G, what the hell did you just say to my daughter, pendejo? Mo, huh? Tia G took off her earrings. Get up! Be a man! You tell me exactly what you said to her, and you tell me exactly what you were trying to do with her. Oh, shit, man. It's getting really weird. She got a knife in her purse, bro. Tia G don't fuck around. Mo, ma'am, senora. He awkwardly clambered to his feet and stood before Tia G, hands clasped, staring at the floor. I was just reading her tarot cards, and she seemed into it. Tia G, into it? You explain to me right now what you mean by that, and look me in the eye when you speak. Mo, timidly raising his head. Nothing. I mean, she thought it was cool. Tia G, you're telling me that my daughter thinks black magic is cool? What kind of nonsense are you filling her head with? Hey, you just digging this hole deeper, ain't you? Mo, no, I don't actually believe in anything supernatural. It's just a card game. It's a goof, like the games little girls play at slumber parties. Mo, please never elucidate upon how you know that much about little girls' slumber parties. I definitely don't believe that he believes anything supernatural. This is all part of his, like, I'm not just a creepy boomer, I also have mystique sort of thing that he's going for. Whatever. Tia G says, okay, so maybe I believe you when you say you're not trying to poison her mind with booga booga, but why were you asking her to leave the theater and drive around? Why were you trying to be alone with a 16-year-old girl? Well, that's the question of the night, isn't it? And I think we all know the answer, but nobody wants to punch him for it. You know what? Move aside, Tia. I'll do it. Mo says, I was just, well, she just got her license, right? So I was trying to let her show off her new driving skills. Tia G pursed her lips and narrowed her eyes. I don't even let her get in the car with boys her own age without a chaperone. What kind of mother would allow her daughter to get into a car with a strange man old enough to be her abuelo? Mo stared blankly, and Tia G clarified, her grandfather. Mo, I'm nowhere near old enough to be your grandfather. He absolutely was. I was trying to be like a cool big brother. I could have given her the driving tips. At what point do we punch him? But Tia G, she don't get violent. She just says, you are a nasty old man. Facts. Mo, I didn't mean to offend you, ma'am. I don't know what else to say. You have a very lovely daughter. I'd like to officially ask your permission to hang out with her.
You serious?
You're gonna end up chopped up and put in buckets? Because that's how you end up chopped up and put in buckets. There are so many things I'd love to teach her. Oh, Jesus. Can we fucking kill him now, please? I don't think Mo realized how disgusting he sounded, but Tia G quite understandably found his words even more offensive than I did. She backhanded the creep. Yeah! Sending him tumbling back into his seat, where his fingerless glove-clad hand smacked the plastic cup of cheap wine out of my hand. Oh, goddammit. Casualties of war. Tia G to me, I'm sorry, are you okay, gata sobrina? Tia G knew me pretty well because I regularly took her Pilates classes. She called me gata sobrina, which is cat niece, because I'd played George's criminal twin sister in the universally reviled musical. Yeah, theater family runs deep. Mo says, what about me? I'm the one who just got slapped. Tia G smacked him upside the head again and said, Vete! No quiero verte, pendejo! Mo didn't speak Spanish, but he seemed to get the idea. As he was scurrying away, the improv director, Mo's arch nemesis, grabbed his arm and hauled him towards the door. Mo, she hit me! Why am I the one getting thrown out? What about my rights as a man? You're a dick! Tia G checked again to make sure I hadn't been hurt in the crossfire. I shook the spilt rosé off my hands and smiled at her. No worries, every woman here has been wanting to do that to him for ages. My dance partner threw a drink in his face a few weeks ago, but what you did was even ballsier. Tia G, will you let me buy you another drink? OP, oh, it's fine. The wine here is pretty terrible, to tell you the truth. Tia G, good to know. I'll stick with Diet Coke. OP, a girl after my own heart. Tia G, well, come on then. I'll buy you a Diet Coke. That's right, delicious phenylanilenes. Whilst Mo and George Gay had been trading insults, Lucy had gotten Georgina's take on the exchange and had then discreetly told Tia G all about Mo's love of younger women and his history of questionable behavior, resulting in Mo getting pwned by the quote-unquote old bat. Lucy decided to show Georgina the dressing room in an effort to protect her from the Mo malarkey that was percolating in the audience. But when they got to the dressing room, Georgina was unfortunately then subjected to Mary's mania. Yeah, there's really just no getting away from it, is there? I guess if I had to pick, Mary's mania is slightly more acceptable. Mary had gone from sobbing quietly in the corner to bawling hysterically over the fact that Whiskers had yet to respond to her sext. The Georges had already given up on trying to console her, and when George Gay saw Lucy enter with Georgina, he launched into preemptive damage control mode. George Gay, Georgina, I'm so glad you came back here where it's safe. Well, safer. Mary was too busy weeping and wailing over Whiskers to notice what was going on around her, and her wails were interspersed with hiccups of profanity. George Gay, Mary, my little cousin is here. Remember Georgina? Mary, are you telling me to watch my language? She cleared her throat and attempted to get out a full sentence. She's gonna hear cursing during the show. And then Mary resumed her uncontrollable blubbering as a giant snot bubble burst from her nostril. Oh, that's lovely. Georgina says, Hi, Mary. What's wrong, Mary? He didn't text me back. Wah! Georgina, oh, that sucks. Boys are jerks. Sometimes. Mary threw herself into Georgina's arms, nearly knocking her down, and began to sob into her shoulder. Georgina's emotional maturity was more developed than Mary's, so the teenager gently steered this grown-ass woman over to a sofa in the corner of the dressing room. Georgina, what did you text him? Oh, no, don't. Mary, I told him that the thought of his massive member was making me as slick as a baby seal. Why does it have to be a baby seal? What the fuck are we doing right now? Georgina burst out laughing. Oh, so you didn't text him. You sexted him. George Gay. Georgina, you shouldn't know what that is. Georgina, dude, I'm in high school. You think the other kids aren't sexting each other all day long and showing it to their friends? Mary pulled out her phone and started scrolling through her texts with Whiskers. Georgina was snickering at first, and then she shrieked and shielded her eyes. Ah, fuck. We should have known that was headed for trouble, you know? George Gay, damn it, Mary, what did she see? Indeed, it was a sausage selfie. George Gay snatched Mary's phone and put it into his pocket. Mary, no, I have to have it in case Whiskey Whiskers texts me back. George Gay, you're gonna take your phone on stage with you? The show starts in like 10 minutes. Mary, yes, I'll make it part of the scene. George Straight, Mary, that's unprofessional. Mary, you're just jealous because I'm not sexting you anymore. George Straight muttering, yep, jealousy and relief, that's one and the same. Georgina, hey Mary, let's look at that picture again and make fun of it. That's what my friends do when a guy's being a jerk to them. George gay, George straight, and Lucy all replied in unison, no. Meanwhile, I was in the audience, sipping Diet Coke and talking to Whiskers. Oh, the plot thickens. Oh, I'd like to get into part 4, but I can't do it today. It's a different kind of cringe, but this is some delicious stuff, so we'll get to it sooner rather than later, I promise you. Thank you for watching this far with me today, though, friends. Support in the ways that you would like to support. Patreon specifically, very important. But you know, you do you. I'm just glad you watched the video, especially if you watched this far. Please always remember, friends, that you're loved, you're worthy. You definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Promise, where's he?